So hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are. I'm Dr. Anna, and today we're going to be working with a writing class. Welcome all. I know that many students are registered at E2 Language, and some of you are invited to participate in this class. So welcome to our writing class. It's very nice to be here with you. If you wish to participate in our chat box, I'm going to open up a little bit because the great advantage of the chat box is that we're all together in a virtual classroom. We're also streaming live on YouTube, but the YouTube, you won't be able to participate in our Zoom class in the chat box. So please, students, select all panelists and attendees so that you can see questions and comments from the other students. We're all together, we're going to share experiences and we're going to learn together. So this free live class, it's a sample class. It's shorter than a regular class, so we're going to make the most of it. If you have any questions, please use the chat box. If I miss your question, please put it back in and I'll gladly reply. Suddenly the chat box rolls very quickly, so I'll do my best to answer all the questions. Okay, if not at the end, I'll certainly get to that. So let's get started. Let's understand, first of all, how the writing task is organized. Okay, so we start with some comments. Welcome, of course, to our class. We're going to have the writing overview. We're going to understand how the writing is organized. We're going to have common writing errors. You're going to realize that for IELTS writing, grammar is essential. And identifying your grammar mistakes and proofreading is one key to reducing your penalties. And when you reduce your penalties, you boost your scores. So that's why it's so important to get grammar precise. We also have extra questions and answers at the end. So like I said, I'll do the best. How to improve complex sentences. Vijaya, we have a wonderful video by Alex on YouTube. I'm going to recommend at the end of the class, I'll put the link here, okay? So we have ideas for essays, problem for me. Okay, generating ideas. Today we won't be approaching that, but at the end of the class, I can give in some ideas. Here we go, we'll be together for 30 minutes. Of course, you can join us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube next time, please register at E2 Language as a free user and you can participate in our chat box. So the basics. Let's start with the basics. You have 60 minutes to do this task, the writing, and you have 2 tasks. And it's marked by an examiner. Even if you're taking the computer-based, it's going to be marked by an examiner, okay? General task 1. So you have 150 words plus. For general, it's a letter. And what about academic? It's to describe a graph or charts, a diagram. Exactly. Charts or diagrams. It can be either one. Task 2. How many words do we have in task 2? That's it. 250. Now, if you're aiming for a 7 plus, trust me, you will have to go above 300 words in order to bring in all those details and extended information that is required. And you're going to write an essay. Excellent. I'm also going to recommend at the end of the class a wonderful podcast that Jay interviewed the specialists at E2 at IELTS to get some insight on task 2. And there's a lot of important information in that podcast. So please remind me to put the link here. You are going to be scored on 4 criteria for each task. This is important. If you're aiming, let's suppose, for a 7, you have to get 7 on each. If you get 7, 7, 7, and 1, 6, sadly, your scores will go down to a 6.5. So that means if you're aiming for a 7, you have to get 7 plus in each criteria. Moving on. So in writing, just task 1 is different. That's it. Only task 1 is different. If you're taking the academic or general, task 2 is the same for both. So we're aiming to get you guys all at 7 plus in each and every. So so that you will add up to a band 7 or a band 8. If you're aiming for 8, then focusing today on grammar. So the grammar criterion today is our focus in this live class. Okay, there is no maximum word limit for task 2, in fact. But you do have a clock that is your limit. So we have to be careful. Even, yes, Jay, you will be down to 6.5. So as long as you get 1 6, it goes down all of them to 6. So let's take a close look at the grammar specifically for task 2 and very similar for task 1 as well. The band descriptors. I'll put that up for you soon. Hold on. The majority of the sentences are error-free. So we don't have a precise number, but common sense does tell us what is majority. Take a number, 20. Out of 20, what would be majority? 17. Yeah, and it has to be above 50%. Majority, we're talking like around 80%. If we analyze the word majority as a dictionary word, so that's what it means, okay? So like I said, we don't have a precise number, but we can think of a percentage when we talk about the majority. For 7, you can produce frequent error-free sentences. So here you can see that now it's frequent, the difference of frequent and majority. This is the key here. So it changes. Yeah, vocabulary is important too. Today, the focus in this live class, we're going to be dealing with grammar as a focus, okay? Now, look what happens if you make some error in grammar and punctuation, but they rarely reduce communication. You'll be down to a 6. So if you make some errors in grammar and punctuation. So some is more than frequent. So in a scale, if you were putting it like in percentage, some, frequent, majority. So now we know in terms of percentage what we're looking for. And then we have for a 6, may make frequent grammar errors, punctuation be faulty, and sometimes this can cause communication problems. So frequent errors, difficulty for a reader. What does this mean? This means that the reader, when he reads, really can't understand your message. So in other words, you need a high degree of accuracy to score a 7+. Once again, the focus today is grammar. So grab a pencil and paper and let's get started. We're going to do some activities. The total scoring that you can get is 18 points, which will be equivalent to 100%. So how many mistakes means some and how many means frequently? Well, some mistakes and frequently. Which is more? Frequently is more than some. But here we're talking about frequently error-free sentences. So that means most of your sentences have to be error-free. Okay, so this is a good question. If I write more than 300 words for task 2, will it be counted as overwritten? No, it won't. It won't be counted. Trust me. You can go beyond the 300 words, and yet this will not affect as a negative score. So these are the common errors that we see correcting essays. Not necessarily in this order, but these are the most common mistakes. Now, of course, you need to know what are your common mistakes. Where do you go wrong? In order to know where your mistakes are, you need an expert teacher correcting your writing. Many students, they have attempted IELTS several times and they're like stuck at 6, 6.5. Most of the time, you're repeating the same mistakes because you're not aware. You will become aware of where you're going wrong and what you need to correct once an expert teacher analyzes, corrects, and pinpoints your mistakes. Not only that, but suggests what you can do to improve. Yeah, Vijaya. So it's quite common to be stuck at 6, 6.5 if you're aiming from a 7. Changing a band from 6 to 7 is a hard task. It requires a big boost in language knowledge. Okay, grammarly, it is faulty sometimes, but it's not accurate. That's why you need an expert teacher, because the expert teacher will be able to analyze the full content, the structure, and the vocabulary and the grammar, because you are scored in 4 elements in 4. The Grammarly cannot analyze all 4. It may do the grammar part, not even 100%, but for grammar. But then you have the other criterion that are not analyzed. Okay, here we go. Common error number 1. We're starting now our little challenge. So get ready, set, buckle up, and let's go. So the focus in this class today is for grammar. So spot the error. Here we go. See if you can spot the error. Okay. Excellent, guys. Wonderful. Chat box is rolling and you guys are doing excellent. Here we go. So this is what we call noun and verb. You have a singular noun and a plural verb. Well spotted. So you guys can mark 1 point. If you got this right, give yourself 1 point and save that information. Common error number 2, singular and plural, uncountable nouns. Okay. No, the comma is okay here. There's no problem with the comma. It's the verb. So this sentence, which relies heavily on mass production of animals, it would be what we call a non-defining clause. That's a little bit, for those of you who study grammar. So the food industry, let's suppose you eliminate this sentence. So the non-defining clause, the secret of the non-defining clause is that if you eliminate this sentence and you continue reading, let's see, the food industry is guilty of serious misconduct. In the previous sentence, it had a plural form. So if you eliminate and you say the food industry are, this is the mistake. So the verb are is not for animals. Animals is part of your non-defining clause, which comes in between the commas. That's what we call. So the information that is in the comma is restricted to the comma. And outside the comma, the sentences, they have to continue. So if you eliminate the non-defining clause, this verb are is not going well with industry because industry is singular. Okay, so here we go. Moving on now. Let's go to the second point, singular, plural, and uncountable nouns. Can you spot the error here? Okay, so we have the medical, scientific, and cosmetics industries use animal, not animal, right? That's it, exactly. To carry out, not researches, and conduct. So researches we don't use in plural form, but animals and experiments we do. It's a general perspective. We're not using only one animal. It's the concept and the general perspective of using animals, therefore S's. So if you got this right, 3 points. So here in the previous one, if you remember well, we had 1 point. Now we have 3 points for this one because there are 3 mistakes. So that means 4. How many did you get out of 4 up to now? Articles. This is a killer. So let's see. Can you identify the mistakes here? Addison, you're a little mixed up. So start from now as if you're starting this one now. Work on as if this were number 1 for you. Okay. Here we go. Remember that we're talking about articles. The article the is when you want to make something specific. If you have a plural form, it's not specific, it's a general concept. Therefore, you don't use the article the with plurals because plurals give an idea of general perspective. And since the is for specific, it doesn't make sense to use the with the plural form. As a rule, nouns use articles. Articles and nouns, they go together. It's a perfect combination. However, there are some rules to observe. Education, what happens? It's an abstract noun and a general perspective here. If I were talking about the education in Canada, I would be making it specific, then okay, I would use the. Here it's education as a general perspective, not a specific kind of education or a specific education in a place. So once again, when we have general perspective, we don't use the article the because it goes contrary to the concept of the article the. The article the is to make something specific, okay? And the article a, it goes with the noun when it's singular for non-specific. Yeah, the fact that it's an uncountable noun, education, does not influence the use of the article. I could use the education in Canada, okay? So it's not the fact that it is uncountable, but that's not the reason why you can't use an article. Okay, but if you say the people, now what people? The people in Canada, then okay, but people in Canada, no, you couldn't use that. It really doesn't make sense, not at all. It doesn't make sense at all because once again, the is for specifics, okay? Moving on, out of 3, how many scores did you get? Can't we use the crucial role? Depending the sentence, yes. So once again, it's a lot about context. If I were to say, the crucial role in this event, that would be something specific. So I'm pointing out that it's a crucial role in a specific context. Always consider this. The is to make something unique, something specific. It's not with a general. So here we're saying that while some feel that zoos have a crucial role to play, so it's a general idea, it's not specific, the zoos do not have specifically the crucial role. If I were to say, in my opinion, the crucial role is education. Or if I were to say better, the crucial role of zoos is to educate. That's my opinion. Then I'm making it specific, okay? The fits according to the situation. Excellent. That's it. Perfect. Now over to you. Here we go. Fix these errors. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Focus. The chat box is open. It's a little distracting, but I think that you guys can share a lot of experience then. Here we go. Okay, excellent answers. You guys are getting this right on spot. Let's see. So, could somebody explain why we cannot use S in this situation? I'm going to point it out here. Why did we eliminate the S here? Who could explain? Okay, so animals that are raised in zoos, so animals. So who suffer? The animals, right? So this is plural, so that means no S. In English, contrary to many theories, S means singular for verbs. So you only use S for singular forms. And then number 2, are we good here? Research, uncountable. So if we have an uncountable noun, we must use a singular verb. We're good to go? Excellent. Moving on then. Very good. This group is really on spot here. So now out of 3 points, how many did you get? Why a lot of research? Because we want to mean a big quantity. So we use a lot of, because a lot of we use with uncountable nouns. We cannot use many research, no, because many is for countable. So we need to use a lot. Like information, excellent, that's it. Okay, final challenge coming up. Are we ready? Here we go. If you're a member at E2 School, at E2 Language, you can access the grammar lessons. This is very valuable because each grammar lesson comes with a video that explains in detail the topic. So if we're talking about identify and use nouns, for example, here we go. The pronouns, to know how to use those verbs to match the pronouns, subject verb agreement. So it's all here in the grammar lessons. You have 4 different levels of grammar, which is very rich, and 4 sets per level. Once again, there's a lot of useful and valuable material to really put your grammar in tip-top shape. Some research. Researchers, okay, but not researches. So researchers are the people, okay? Now, a final challenge, here we go. This intro comes from August 13th. It's an original and authentic paragraph from a student. So your task now is to find what you can do to make this paragraph better. You will have 3 minutes. Now, I think I'm going to close the chat box, right? Or leave it open. I think the chat box is going to be quite confusing now. Would you like to share experiences in the chat box or close it? Close for now, right? I think so too. Or else it's going to be very confusing and distracting. Here we go. So 3 minutes and we'll be back. Please send your answers in the chat box because I'll be reading each and every answer. Okay, really well done. I'm impressed how well you were able to identify the mistakes and point them out. So let's see the correction, check out. And if you have any questions, now I'm going to open up the chat box so we can share. What are your doubts and questions? Okay, corrections now. Most of you, from what I saw in the chat box, really got this right. You missed the history, Varsha, but did you understand why? Why we can't say, if we were to say the history and made it, yeah, not specific. There you go. Excellent. Well done. Okay, why feel and not feels? Well, who can help me out with this? Why do we say some feel and not some feels? Well, some is plural. Excellent. Very well. So some is plural. If we have some, it would be some people. Some will always be for plural. Okay. Now, can I say this view instead of these views? Not really, because we have more than one view, right? Entertainment, food, research subjects. Others strongly oppose. No, then you're changing the words. You can. You can do that, of course. Excellent. So when we have a plural, we cannot use a. Definitely not. We can't use a with plurals. That's it. Okay, if we were to say the history in Canada, the history in Australia, then it would be, I'm making history specific. But here it's history as a general perspective. Okay, not in the, so history can be specific, but not in this case. Yes, the Turkish history for sure. Perfect. As a research subject, you can, but here, since we have a general perspective that animals are being used for this purpose, it's not only one research subject. They are being used with this general idea. Can we remove and? No, because we're adding the idea of exploiting them for food. Because if you don't put and, you would not give the idea of the conjunction and. Here it's a coordinating conjunction that adds information. And here we want to add the information. Why a conflicted relationship? Relationship is a noun. Conflicted is the adjective here. So you need the ed to indicate that conflict here is not a verb and an adjective. Okay, let's move on. Out of 18, what was your score? Let me know here, please, in the chat box. Great, great results. 15, 16, 17. So how can you improve grammar? Well, by studying, first of all, certainly, but also by knowing what are your grammar slips. Suddenly you're not aware of what are your real grammar slips. You should have your writings corrected by an expert teacher. So also to build your vocabulary, that's another element that will be scored. For E2 language students, we have amazing tools. It's called vocabulary toolkits. In these toolkits, we develop 20 different subjects in all perspectives: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Okay, just a general question. I missed when you answered. Oh, okay, so when we talk about 18 sentences, That would be a good score. Yes, that's it. Excellent. Out of 20, let's suppose. So writing skills. Firstly, to improve writing, you need to know about framework and structure for essays, grammar, and vocabulary. So it's knowledge that you build together. Of course, if you study grammar, you have to apply it by writing, but in order for you to write the essay, you need to know structure. So one element complements the other to produce an effective, in fact, a high score essay. Yes, the links right now. Here we go. So YouTubers, you can type toolkit in the chat to get a link. So if you're there following us in YouTube, please type in the chat box, exclamation mark toolkit, and you'll get a link, okay? The links, more help with writing. Don't forget, we have a lot of live classes. I would love to see you there. And this weekend on Saturday, I'm bringing in a different topic. So if you join the class on Wednesday, General Task 1, and you join it on Saturday as well, it's going to be a different topic. Recorded classes are excellent. You can catch up on them. Get your writing checked by expert teachers. This is gold because you'll know where you're going wrong and what to do to improve. So not only do we correct, but we also guide you on how you can improve. You will get band score at estimates, vocabulary and grammar check, diagnose feedback, and comments that you can work on, what to do to improve in fact, okay? We have several packages available, of course. All of them are wonderful. What bets, you have to decide what are your needs. Firstly, how much do you need? What do you need to study? For how long? And then we have on a budget, writing intensive. This is very valuable as well. Our support team, they're great. Hello at E2 Language, trust me. Send them the message and they'll get back to you accurately, precisely, and you will have all the information you need. Now, bear with me 1 minute, please, because I'm going to grab those links that I talked about to help you, to give you some more information. So the link that I'm going to put now, it's a very, very nice link. That was when Jay interviewed the specialists at IELTS IDP, and they discussed during 40 minutes all the information you need to know about task 2. Now, let me get the one of the band descriptors there by Alex. I have so many files open here, but I'll get that one for you guys. Just give me a second. It's really worth waiting a few minutes, but I'll get that for you. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So yes, band descriptors, task 2 explain. This is wonderful. You will understand clearly what it means. Okay, and complex sentences, of course. We talked about complex sentences. That's, you name it, we have it at E2. Trust me. Whatever you need, we have here at E2 to help you achieve your scores that you're aiming for. Here we go. These are for complex sentences. Okay. There we go. So did I miss any questions here? Band 8. So can we use metaphors and phrasal verbs? Definitely you can. You just have to be sure that it's appropriate, okay? Punctuation and prepositions. Well, my recommendation, you should visit E2 School as well. I'm putting the link here. In E2 School, it's our sister website. You will have a lot of grammar information to help you. Prepositions, it's one of the units and it's full of material there. Okay? Okay, Vijaya, in order to have, we recommend for you to achieve a band 7, that you have approximately 5 complex sentences there, between five different sentences, like conditionals, compound, complex, complex, compound, when possible, passives, using participles to connect idea, the ing forms. Okay. Yes, conditionals, definitely. So you have to have, in the band descriptors, it says that you have to have a wide range of structures. So that means different types of sentences. Oh no, in the full essay, Vijaya, not in each paragraph. That would be impossible. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to say more, but the clock is ticking. I know that you also have commitments, but join me for the other live classes. The teachers, we would love to see you here at E2 School, at E2 Language. Join us. For those of you on YouTube, please register at E2 Language and you'll be able to join us in the chat box and have more information and participate of the classes. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, depending where you are. And continue following us in YouTube. There are some wonderful channels there. Go to IELTS YouTube channels. There are so many videos there, and also in our platform. Take care now. Bye-bye.